G'day, folks. Chris and Paul and Chris back with, I believe this is number 10. We've hit number 10 of the Insight sessions. And this is part 2 of the double parter we talked about in the last episode, where we talked about when you should be started to look at hiring without going broke in your e-com or commerce or any type of business. In part 2, we're going to look at that second piece. Is right, great. I'm ready to hire. I've got some tasks I want to delegate and get off my checklist. Where do I go to find people? How do I find people? How do I set up an ad? Where do I even begin to look? Do I go to LinkedIn? Do I go to seek.com? Like, how do I get this done? And Paul's done, obviously, you've done a lot of this within Insiteful as a business and previously with Warcom. So we're going to get into all that good stuff of where and how to actually get this done and find some people to help you grow your business.
Yeah, cool. So we won't go into what you need to put in the ad because that'll turn into like a 3-hour episode. But we will talk about you like, Paul, we'll do a 10-minute episode. Right, cool. Okay, we'll aim for 5 then because I'll talk too much. But my best hiring tips right now are, right, given that we live in a COVID world, you don't need to hire people, like even with e-com, right? You don't need to hire local people anymore. They don't literally need to come to your warehouse. They don't need to come to your office. You can hire a dude in the middle of Bangladesh or Kenya or Philippines or whatever for like $10 an hour, and they'll basically be a genius, you know. So if you're like, hey, I need to hire like customer service people, you know, you've got 50 different countries where you can hire people to do that role on a part-time basis or a task basis or a full-time basis in so many countries around the world. Obviously, you can do that in Australia as well. Again, you know, and you can do that on the task-based, project-based, outcome-based process. So we'll jump in. We'll talk about a few different roles, and I am huge on outsourcing as much as you can to like agencies or freelancers or, you know, people like that too. So if we were to talk about things like you know, like customer service, for example, there's tons of places you can hire from, but one of the best places you can hire from is it needs to be very specific to your business, right? So if you say you run a technology business like I did, Warcom, right? You know, and you get people asking super technological kind of based questions. You don't go to a site like Seek. You don't go to a site like Online Jobs. You don't go to a site like Indeed. You go to the communities where the people who know how to answer those questions hang out, and you need to groom them to the point that they know how to communicate better, right? So technology people pretty much, you know, live in their basement, you know, play Fortnite all day, blah, blah, blah. But they can just pump out technology-based answers all day long. So go find the Facebook group, go find the forums, go find the subreddits and go, hey guys, look, you know, I've got a position here. It's 30 hours a week. I'm paying $50, $30 an hour or something, you know. You're going to be using Drift live chat, Talk live chat, whatever, Messenger live chat. I'm going to show you how to do it. You know, anyone interested in the job, you know, let's have a chat. You know, that's a brilliant place to find people like that. You know, again, so similar business model. Say you sell candles or something. You know, go and join the community groups of where people that are really passionate about. You know, they want to sell candles. They may have tried to sell candles themselves and couldn't get their business off the ground. And you're like, hey, come work for me. You know, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about my business. I'm going to teach you how to hire my customers, and then you're going to fill that role really easily, you know. So that's when you're hiring people based on their passions to do those roles for you in their business, you know. Then you get into higher level tasks, like it might be your Google ads or something, you know. Unless you're doing like, you know, 100 grand a month, 200 grand, 300, 400 grand a month, like you can outsource that to an agency like us, a freelancer, you know, someone in Upwork, for example, you know, like upwork.com. You can vet them. You're like, hey, this person on Upwork has been on the platform for 3 years. They've done $100,000 worth of revenue. They're obviously pretty good. You know, you hire them based on an outcome based, you know, task based, you know. So I'm like, I'm going to pay you $500 a month to run my Google ads for me. I'm going to give you a budget of like $5 grand a month. This is my expectations. Work as many hours you want, work as minimal hours you want. I don't care. As long as I give you $5 grand, you make me 25 grand. Done. You know what I mean? So, then obviously you can use sites like Seek and stuff to hire roles. Again, that's obviously for Australian-based talent, being honest, I've posted like 10 job ads on Seek in the last couple of months, and the applicants have been absolutely rubbish. So, and I hear the same thing as well. So the new kind of methodology that it's not new, but it's kind of growing really rapidly is, you go and find people that are working at your competitors, and, you go, hey, look, I've got a position here. Do you want to come work for me? I'm going to give you we've got a better culture. We've got a better team. We've got a better outcome. I'm going to pay you waste what you're getting paid now, but there's more benefits. You want to have a chat, there's like so many ways you can hire people, at different levels like that. So that's kind of like the task-based, the full-time based, the outcome-based, and then in terms of like, where else can you hire? Like I said, LinkedIn is an option as well. Again, go find the people that you want, reach out to them, go, we've got this position. This is what we're hiring for, and it's hard for me to talk about this without trying to jump in and talk about, this is what your job ad should look like. This is their personality. So there's going to be, Chris said in the previous episode, this is part 1, part 2. There's going to be a part 3, 4, 5, and 12 based on the back of this as well. So, and you're on mute, by the way, Chris. I don't know if you've got anything you want to jump in with yet, but
no, I realize that I'm just not saying anything. Just letting you riff because it's good.
Yeah, cool. So again, we talk about e-com businesses, right? So like I said, hiring a young mum come in at an entry level to do stuff. She only wants like a couple hours, a day kind of thing, or you want your full timer or whatever. I do say avoid using sites like Seek. Go seek out the talent. This will be the takeaway from this episode, right? Go and seek out the talent online and find them where they hang out. That is the biggest piece that like a lot of people spend their whole career trying to figure out the secret to like how to hire good talent. You need to find where they are. It's the same as when you try to make sales in your business, sell your products where the people are actually hanging out. So sure, they're hanging out on Facebook, but they are in a pocket of Facebook they follow a certain page, for example. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of where you need to market to. Same with your hiring. And then once you've got really, really good talent, this is another secret as well. Well, no, it's a secret, but I use it, hire internally from people that your employees know. So if you've got A-player employees and they got great personality, like Chris, good personality and good at what he does, and I won't say too many nice things, like good guy, loyal,
pay me $100 an hour. You might have to up it. Just trying to reduce my pay by giving me compliments.
Yeah, there's a good chance. Yeah, no, I thought we were paying like 25 an episode. Shh. Anyway, but there's a good chance Chris will have another 10 people in his network that are at his level. Like, people like Chris don't usually hang around dumb people. They hang around high achievers, Same with your people. Like, if you're hiring young mums that are super smart, they may have an ex-corporate background. They only want to work 3 hours a day because they got kids. They might know 10 other mums that are like go-getters as well. And you go, cool, put the word out. We're hiring. You know what I mean? Go, this is what we're offering. So I always have the best in Warcom, for example. I hired Adam first. Adam, and he was a gun. He was with me for a long time. He introduced me to Braden. Braden introduced me to Alex. Alex introduced me to Byron. Like, I don't think I ever run a Seek ad. You know what I mean? And they were all good guys, loyal, honest, hardworking. A few of them are like very religious guys, so they all knew each other from church. I'm not a religious dude, but that's good. They're all good people. Do you know what I mean? And when I started hiring, when I started hiring outside of the group who knew each other, and I stopped that quickly. Shit went pear-shaped. You bring in someone that doesn't know anyone and is a bit of a rogue and blah, blah. It just doesn't work as good.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's super interesting because we did something very, like when we were growing our agency back in early 2000s, we had a very similar thing. So we hired from our initial employees or contractors, essentially, where we were based in Paran in Melbourne, was literally right directly opposite from Swinburne University, who was running they had a multimedia design course. So we were looking for graphic designers and web developers, and they were literally across the road. They were doing a TAFE course. So we somehow got in touch with the university, and we got contracted one girl from there, and then she had a bunch of friends who were doing the same course. So learning the skills that we needed, in between doing university, they'd come and work for us for a few hours, and then they became, as you said, one. I've got a really good mate. He's also doing the same course. They brought him over. We stacked about five or six of them together, and they became our stable foundational. For the next sort of 10 years, they graduated up into senior positions in the business, but they all came from contract task work, literally from university. So that's also a really good place to look, is people that are studying the thing that you want to do. Because if it's task-based stuff, someone that's studying web design has some semblance of web skills, so you can bring that person in. So universities, TAFEs, institutions can be another good place. A lot of people don't think to look for contracting people in. And one final point, as you said, you find that that working mum who can just do 3 days a week, if you can find 4 or 5 of them and stack their hours, you'll get a full-time person. And that's obviously going to come down to making sure you've got a very systemized, optimized business where one person can pick up the task from the previous person. But you can fill a full-time role with 4 or 5 people doing a few hours at a time. That's also a possibility. So plenty of ways to do it.
To add what Chris said there, that's a strategy that I also use in the businesses here. So Chris and I haven't spoken about it before, but he'll look after we speak about this and he'll be like, oh yeah, we do that. I try to have 2 of everybody, right? So I have 4 web designers. I have 4 people in the leadership team. I have 2 AdWords people. I have 4 SEO people. I have 6 content writers. So like what Chris said, you have redundancy so you don't become dependent on those people. So that's the thing. That's something for another episode. But like Chris said, using universities, think of it as a sales funnel, right? Or your employee funnel. You've got the lecturers and the hiring people and the placement people chucking people in your funnel, and they're just slowly going, yeah, cool, they got a job interview, they've hired, they've worked here. Those people either stay or they go do something else, but they go, hey, I got my start here, and that funnel just keeps filling. Same with the mums. It's like a couple of mums, love their job, go off, have more kids, tell their friends, more mums come through. It's just the funnel that keeps filling up with people. That's kind of what you want. So you've got people ready to go, on demand. You've got a good place to work. Away you go. Again, but to wrap up this episode, hire 2 people, but that's fantastic. Hire people where they hang out and where your audience is. Again, so that was like, Facebook communities, it's Slack communities, it is offline communities, it is whatever. If you run a parenting, if you sell children's products and you want to hire mums, go to a daycare center, go, hey, anyone looking for a job? They understand kids, you know what I mean? They know how to communicate, off you go. Like, you don't need to use sites like Seek that cost you $400 and get you 35 shitty applicants. Indeed, or I paid $900 last month to advertise on LinkedIn and just got rubbish, for example, so there's lots of options you can do when you're like bootstrapping, and even when you got money, I can afford to pay heaps of money to hire good talent, but I still use these strategies because it just works better. So, something to think about.
A lot of people out there looking for a bit of spare cash.
Yeah, exactly.
A few hours a week, few hours a day, like people will take it. So plenty of options out there now.
So many people, like you said, and I'm now at 13 minutes. I'll shut up in 1 minute. But, everybody wants a side hustle. Like 90% of people want a side hustle. 80% of people have like ADD, ADHD, blah, blah, blah. They want to do 100 different things. Do you know what I mean? So, and they're really good at what they do. They're high performers. Find those people, give them what they want, keep them happy, find where they're hanging out, give them a job. Away you go. Like, this is such simple stuff that anybody can do. If you got any questions, put a comment below, send us an email, whatever you want to do. Happy to give you some advice on how you do this. And then I feel like there's going to be another episode of what you need to put in your job ad, what that looks like, how to handle the interview process. Like, there's a lot of parts to this too. So but I'm gonna stop talking. We're still going over again.
We'll continue this. We're gonna wrap right under 15 minutes, so not too bad considering we were aiming for 5. So that's been good. I think there's plenty, like, it's a big topic, a lot of value in that. So hope you all got a lot from it. We'll catch you on the next one. We're going to do 2.5 minutes on the next episode. See how we go. Catch you then.